Ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Koruck.
And I'm Rangru, hello.
And folks, we are actually coming to you on a little bit of a twist from the Terrible Divisions tournament here on Lenina. Arguably one of the worst maps to ever play on. We're bringing you another map from the Terrible Divisions tournament. Rang, who are we seeing and what are they bringing to the fray?
On the left-hand side in blue, we have Jardaboj playing as Koruck 559 with Vanguard income, and on the right-hand side, we have vonPaulus playing 358th Rifle Division with a Vanguard income as well.
So 358, of course, actually seeing a nice little group of T60s moving to their front, as well as some T26s. So a little bit lighter tanks than what we're used to seeing. Koruck 559's definitely been a time since we've seen them. What's going on with those?
It's also going to be a lot of just rear janky tanks from the end, and also a lot of janky infantry as we're seeing the SS super spam being brought into full measure. And on a map like this, I mean, there's no tactics, there's no real reasoning. All you have to do is spam more bodies into the middle and pray to God that you have artillery.
Well, then again, I mean, at that point, I suppose that means that the Soviets are in good stead. They definitely have several hundred million more people to kind of throw out the fray then, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Early IL-2...
And yeah, Strelkovy Squad, Strelkovy Squad's pretty good, but yeah, the IL-2 coming in. And, oh no, they're pretty bunched up, those supers.
Wow, but he aimed a lot further back in the column. Still quite devastating, all things considered, and this Copra's not going to help matters either.
Yeah, it sniped the leader unit, yeah, of all things, and T60 is definitely going to help out, as Jard doesn't really have much armor apart from that one SPW, so he's a little bit outgunned.
I'll say reverse, my friend, reverse, but apparently he's not getting the memo on that one.
Nope. There's no reversal. And there's more supers being brought in, and yeah, quite a decent amount of air power early on. Not expecting this.
Yeah, maybe not, but at the same time, I feel like it's probably the best way to go forward. I mean, it's really just artillery that flies, right?
Mm-hmm. And you just need a lot of that. You just need lots of high explosives to drop in the center, no matter how you deliver it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're going to see right now that we have vonPaulus at T60s and move nice and close. And those Shupos, well, the Shupos for some reason didn't come expecting to fight any tanks. I'm not entirely sure why about that is.
I think they weren't expecting to police tanks. People, yes, tanks, a little bit harder to keep under control.
You know, it's kind of disappointing all the same. Actually, it's kind of funny. We have just these couple of artillery pieces to the southeast of the town just shelling another SPW. And shockingly enough, they actually probably could take him out. IL-2 is not going to help. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. And we got 76 captured just free from the German side, and that should provide some pretty good fire support. Actually using it in the anti-tank role to pick off some T60s.
You know, using it in the anti-tank role is kind of a misnomer because it's got to kind of go and hit something from a couple kilometers away, and it's certainly causing some issues for it already. But picking up one kill at least, so I can't complain too much, I imagine. Come the other direction, a Hurley Henschel. I've heard your angry comments, everybody. A Henschel coming on in the 129.
Isn't it a Heinquil?
Oh, dear Lord. By the comrade, by the Fuhrer, and everyone in between, I apologize. I saw your angry, your angry remarks. I saw that too. Oh, yeah. Hopefully I can make amends one way or the other. But things have definitely gone poorly for that Henschel, as it definitely goes down and crashes on top of that Schupo to the northwest of the town. You know, I haven't
seen too much of it.
Yeah. But you can see these lines have actually kind of sorted themselves out. I mean, the Schupo is not exactly what you want to be fighting with in the first place, but having this kind of rough skirmish line, they will at least retard the progress, I think, of the Automochikis and their attendant, Strelky DPs in the center there.
Yeah, they're pretty much just body bags to put on the front line and just draw fire. But you get a lot of them, and they're relatively cheap at 15 points for what they are. So, yeah, we have some Chikis and whatnot. It's really, game to try to maneuver in close and pepper them down with PPSH fire.
Well, it's kind of funny you call them body bags, because I'm pretty sure that's how they're all going to be going home. Not even this column of P3s and P2s, and wow, sorry, excuse me, also a T60 in there. somehow doubt that's going to be enough to really kind of stop things. If it's one thing we have seen from the Koruck 559 is that they tend to be very poorly armored. Let's just say they wouldn't do very well in the internet age. Their skin is far too thin.
Yeah.
Trying to look to see if we're going to see any kind of sneaky plays elsewise. Maybe we'll get a couple stroke UTPs moving across the northern side. We have a PTRS who's doing the whole like Last of the Mohicans going wilderness hopping on the northern side of the world as well.
Oh, yeah. Maybe he's going to try to get towards the enemy spawn so he can snipe a few armored cars as they come in. That'd be a pretty cool play.
Frankly, yes, sir.
Yeah. I know, it's just like on the flanks. I really don't think much is going to happen. This map, what makes this map terrible is that there's no flanking maneuvers that you can really do because there's no real infrastructure on said flanks. So really, your best bet is to just funnel everything into the middle and just pray to God you have more dudes.
Well, and that's I think one of the reasons. I know you said you definitely want to make sure we cast this game is because of the madness of the map.
Yeah, I usually, this is one of the maps I usually avoid at all costs to cast, but considering this is a terrible divisions tournament, I think this is one of the few efficient times to actually cast it.
The Kampfpanzer 3, I didn't realize until just now. Is that a Valentine coming in?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think they do have Valentines available.
I don't think I've ever seen the Kampfpanzer actually getting used in frontline combat, but I mean, Terrible Divisions tournament, definitely the time to use it.
And it's only has the 2-pounder gun, it's the early Valiant time, so it's pretty shit.
It's pretty shit, but maybe it can cause its own Valentine's Day massacre. We'll definitely see.
Maybe the guy inside has the Tommy gun.
There's a Capone joke somewhere in there, but you know what? I definitely have to think about it a little bit more. I don't want to get picked up for any kind of tax fraud. But all these light vehicles racing to the front. The interesting thing is, can they kill the SVTs before the SVTs can get in range with all their heat grenades? And that's really the kind of question that needs to be asked.
Yeah, and also the few squads in here do have PT. Oh, it's only one squad in there. Well, it's a few with PTRDs, which can definitely pop a few tanks. But there's just so much armor being brought in from Jardaboj. So yes, it's not good armor, but in a town fight, bad armor is good armor.
Yeah, I was going to say that armor is kind of a misnomer here. I would say maybe more like some aggressively armored cars, maybe, if we're lucky.
Yeah, just a little bit of everything. Pretty much close range equalizes all tanks.
Yes, that's a fair way to put it.
But it should be enough to make a pretty big counter push here.
Well, I would hope so.
We have to T-26s, so, you know, this is a real class of the Titans here, lads.
Well, this is that thing, you know, we've tacked up over the first phase, into the skirmish phase for the Germans, and we put down our tier 2 bunker over here from the Soviets. But no one seems to have the oil production to really bring in those main battle tanks. The P3G, ugh, poor guy. That was a Company of Heroes reference for those of you who had no idea what I was talking about, including Rang, I think, for quite a few seconds there.
I was confused when I heard oil thing, because the guy is talking about coal.
Well, I'm definitely not talking about Iron Harvest, I can tell you that much. More T-34s, and actually these guys on the map, this could give quite a hassle over here to the 358. 358 doesn't get a whole lot of heavy material, but they do get 120mm mortars.
And 122s, ISUs.
Ooh, yeah,
which is pretty scary.
Yikes.
But it's not going to be super useful in a close range fight, as it can... I mean, it has pretty heavy armor, but it can still get popped off at close range.
You know what will be useful, though? The IL-2s coming in. Yeah. But the Shupos, oh, wow, shockingly enough, the Shupos are pushing the Soviets out of this town.
There's so many of them. And also all the armoured fire supporters helping out too. And we've got T-34s being brought in from Jardaboj, which might as well be heavy tanks in this case, considering the matchup against T-26s. Actually, there's that one on ISU.
Can we please just watch the madness going on the hillside? Look to the northwest, we have the PTRS and the 76-2 shooting at each other from 50 yards away. And the PTRS actually might win this. Because the HE values... Oh, never mind.
No.
So the HE values on that, especially from that range, are just so low in my mind. I feel like the blast is a little bit undergunned, but... hey, when you resist gun, you're not supposed to be shooting those little infantry dudes. And I know you'll say, but there was an artillery piece, and yeah, it's a different fight altogether.
But Khan, it was an artillery piece.
Yeah. I'm just kind of fascinated. The T-70s are engaging the artillery to the north, away from the German side. That's really surprising. There's a very unique kind of breakout that's happening here.
This is like one of the few flanking attacks that you see on this map. And this might work. The problem is, usual with flanking attacks like this, is that there's no real road infrastructure. So if he does push all the way to that northeastern hill, it's going to take him a long time to get reinforcements having to go through the marsh.
I think there's just some like real Swamp Foxy things going on here. We have more Shupos coming to the center, so maybe there's going to be an attempt to kind of take the last bits of town from the Ultima Cheeky squads. Which, good on you, but good freaking luck. That's going to be an uphill battle. I'm
really surprised we have not seen any off-map artillery yet, because this is the map for off-map artillery.
Yes, that's definitely true. But the funny thing I feel like is that we're looking at this is that the Flammenwerfer squads that we usually see being dead, 20 or 30 seconds into the match, for the most part are still there. All of these guys are like, this is the only time we can actually get to survive these chaps.
They have been deployed much more defensively rather than the suicidal rush into the town to jump off into jeeps and flame people. Imagine if that actually happened in real life, Khan. Like, you're about to get attacked by a German offensive, but like the first thing they attack with is a bunch of dudes with flamethrowers and Cooper wagons just coming straight at you.
I'm pretty sure
like the first thing they attack you with. I'm
pretty sure that's exactly what happened in Arnhem in the first place, wasn't it?
Was it?
I don't know. I'm just the whole half-track BS. Like, yes, let's drive in a column with absolutely nothing that has any kind of armor.
Yeah, across the bridge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I would call it a fatal funnel, but that implies there's actually any kind of armor on either side. Ooh, actually, I kind of like this. We actually have 4 IG-290s coming on in, so these are basically more captured Russian equipment. But their rather aggressive positioning means that their firepower is going to be heavily concentrated. Going to be a hassle when those IL-2s come back again, so I hesitate to say they're going to be extremely effective, but it certainly bears watching.
Yeah, it's just a lot of firepower. It's definitely a very exposed position to put them in, but it could work just due to just having so much high explosive kaboom.
Yes.
At the same time, if they stay too close together, it's going to get easily suppressed down.
Well, true. I mean, that's what the old phrase is. Guns of a feather die together. That's how it works.
I did not know that.
Yeah, exactly. It's a corollary of the other one. Guns of the same caliber. And that's all I got. I was actually that was coming into my mind. I was like, we got this, and then I didn't know it was going to happen.
Almost, yeah.
So those IL-2s, I'm surprised that the air power on the Koruck side has been as anemic as it has been, with other than the Henschel coming on in. There's been really nothing else.
Yeah, it's been pretty lackluster, because you do get your Streifenstückers, which are lovely units. But I guess in town fights, the Streifenstückers aren't as great against in-place positions, and especially when there's so much just infantry, it's too many targets. You really need just, high explosive bombs to spread the love.
Yeah, but you know what? I feel like you have to keep it just in case you do something like strafe the ISU-122.
Oh, yeah.
That right there, even if I just stress it to death, I mean, stress kills, by the way, but if you just stress it to death, that's going to be as much as you need. Dear God, I never fully appreciate how many Shupos are in here. Jeez, McGregor.
Yeah, the Russian artillery did manage to knock out the Flak 36, which is pretty useful. But just looking at this map, not from a gameplay perspective, there's a lot of smoked out carcasses in the center of this town.
Oh yeah.
It's just so much smoke.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you can tell by how devastating some of this fighting has been. We have Shupo squads that are almost out of ammunition. That doesn't happen.
No, they should be dead. But yeah, it's just, I mean, there's no overall tactics or, like, major strategy in this. It's just a spam fest through the center ledge. And as you can see, Koruck is very good at a spam fest.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're actually able to shoot things a little bit further away than 100 meters. I mean, at least, of course, until they get rid of all of their K98 and MM26 ammo.
Yeah. And you have some cheekies are getting into good positions, but there's too many targets for those PPS-8s to deal with.
Well, yeah, it's just like the one spot that just got shot from literally 7 directions.
Yeah.
By the way, the IG-290 is clearing off that infantry to the southeast of the town, and I think those guns, the guns, they've stopped. So, I'm not saying there's enemy fighters on the way coming in, but, ooh, also interesting, P2 looking to fight the ISU-122.
What?
Watch this be a surrender. Okay, maybe not, but the idea was there.
Hey, he had like a few good flanking shots, but the high school is coming in, and there he goes. Super gets a surrender due to stressing out the ISU. The Cobra's gonna get the kill, but I mean, it's still like beneficial for vonPaulus, I think, point rise, but
oh, absolutely.
Just in terms of opportunity cost, knocking out the ISU definitely gives Jardaboj a bit of breather.
You know, I feel kind of bad for these Automachikis. I think it actually might be less of a war crime to just shoot them by their own troops.
They're just getting slaughtered.
And it's stunning to me, because again, Shupos should not be staying on the field this long. But now they're coming up against Chernos, and I mean, at this point, it's a disable fest. Like,
it's just a snowball effect. Like, it's just too many on the field now to deal with.
Yes. Yeah. And now, Pack 36 is being brought on in, so I'm not saying that Jardaboj is slowly running out of artillery or anything like that, but I feel like he's spammed out so much of his infantry. I don't know if he's got a whole lot left.
Yeah. And vonPaulus really focusing, it seems, a bit more... I would say he's focused on artillery, but all I really see is those 220mm mortars.
It's also mildly amusing to watch these Shupos that are, I'm not going to say engaging this T-34, they're more accurately hunkering down and fleeing in fear, but to each their own.
Yeah, T-34 was probably a little bit freaked out, and buggering out. This is getting pretty bad here for vonPaulus, because he doesn't really have much of a foothold in the town anymore. And it's not super difficult, but it's still a pain in the arse to try to get that foothold back, especially when all he's really using is Chernos. And yeah, it's just I mean, if I was in this town, I would be very disheartened in this fight.
Oh, absolutely. How would you like your remains displayed? Oh, I think I'll just take it in the town, thank you very much. Just drape me over a brick wall, that'll be enough.
Just little bits and pieces.
Exactly. Bits and bobs, you know.
Did I get the high explosive package? I want it to just be instant.
I don't want to linger, just let me go.
Sorry sir, we only have the shot down by a machine gun burst available right now. I guess that'll do. We
sold out. Oh, are you? Is it that much of an interest? Yes, nobody likes to linger.
Sounds like a good sketch.
Monty Python's Flying Circus. God, I wish we still had Terry Gilliam and Eric Idle. I would pay money to see that happen. Maybe we can have like a Rowan Atkinson Blackadder moment here. But Cherno's moving into the town, and of course, between the T-60s and all the rifle fire, and even those MP-28s, those Berkmans, not very good overall, but they're going to be just enough, I would argue, to take out these Chernos.
Yeah, it's just enough firepower, really. Just so many guys, but the Shupos are running some pretty serious ammunition issues. Like, some of these Shupos along the southern edge of the town, it's really only the SMGs that have ammunition left.
Yeah, but you know what? As long as you continue to advance, your opponent doesn't know that.
Yeah, exactly. And they're still, you know, providing a very useful support of spotting everything and taking fire. But what they should do is that the bullets being shot at them, they should really capture them and shoot them back to save ammunition.
Well, you're absolutely right. You know, a guy, your buddy dies, you know what you do? You dig the bullet out and you fire back at the enemy.
Exactly. I mean, it's just like temporary storage to be reused. You got to reuse, and recycle. I think that's how it goes.
Exactly. And then you report the losses. Shupos, in the meantime, though, these deep wounds into the Russian lines, it's still 16-8. I mean, Jardaboj over here has definitely crushed the front lines. And you can see now, just Cherno's coming on in, which tells me, I don't know if guys have anything left in their siege decks for either side. I think both sides have faced exactly one kind of prep, and that's going A, B, and that's it.
Yeah, it definitely seems like vonPaulus is running out of actual troops. And then Jardaboj now spamming MG42 and 34 teams to set up defenses. And there's not really too much armor from vonPaulus. It's just a few T-34s, a T-60 here and there. But also at the same time, Jardaboj has lost quite a bit of armor.
True. True. I was just watching these 290s just engage the Cherno's moving on in, and it's not happening. The Cherno's take one round to the face, and they're like, "Yep, I'm out." Which, don't get me wrong, I totally would understand that myself.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they get discount flak 88s moved on in. I say discount because we have one idiot, true idiot, I think, being brought in. Yeah, it's a flak 41.
Yeah.
And then we have a flak M39, so the Russian takeoff, basically.
Yeah. I believe they literally reboard it to
yes.
shoot 88 mils. I just
yes.
find really funny. I know, I just find that.
Oh, waste not want not. That's your reduce, reuse, recycle.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, to a certain degree, one thing that kind of also doesn't really get mentioned is that the 85, 88 generally didn't have ammunition because they already had ammunition shortages for the 88. So...
It's typical German problems.
It's twice as efficient. Too bad we have half the resources.
Stop capturing guns. We don't have enough ammunition for the current runs.
But just when I thought it couldn't get any more dire, we actually have Strelkovy DPs being brought on in. So this could be the last stone throw of hope.
Yes.
For vonPaulus.
Yeah, Strelkovy DPs are really only Kroll's infantry, but it's this. I mean, Jardaboj has too much quantity to really make quality matter.
Exactly. Exactly. I am going to be rather depressed if this 85-88 doesn't... There we go. I thought we really ticked off, but he got taken out by a T-60. He almost did.
He took a lot of damage from it. I understand that AA units take extra damage from ground units, but that was a lot for just an autocannon.
Yes.
So I guess, it was pretty good autocannon.
Well, what we are seeing is the most deadly killers of the day coming onto the field, the Snippiers. I kind of wondered they shouldn't just stuck a line of them in the first place and just slow pushed it, just kind of stayed out of range of everything else. But
yeah,
here we are.
Well, Germans have their own snipers known as 76mm field guns, and they're proven to be quite deadly.
They certainly are. Much as we have, Shupos. Okay, I thought we had some pioneers moving on in, but no, that was just the captured T-36 again, T-34 rather. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm. Got more Aftermachikis, and at this point it's getting pretty hard to actually position those Aftermachikis because you get in too close and you get just pounded down. But vonPaulus is making a little bit of a dent in the northern side of the town, but there's more Shupos being brought in. There's forever will be Shupos being brought in. They will never stop coming.
Never gonna give it up. Never gonna let it down.
Never let it down. I'm never gonna run around and hurt you.
Well, that's exactly what you say about Airsats Chupin, Chupos, and Chernos.
Yeah, Strelkovy DPs are really holding their own.
True, but it's easy to hold your own when the guys you're fighting don't have any ammunition.
Yeah, Avtos are pushing in. Good thing I did actually bring them up in the half track, so they're not actually... Well, they do get killed by grenades if you get too close, but it's better odds. If you never jump out the half track, it's, yeah. One of them are loaded right next to an 85-88,
yes.
And there it goes.
It evaporated.
Pretty cool.
Well, yeah, I didn't actually think we were going to see a third culture on here, but they turned definitely to Swiss cheese, so... But the columns of Shupos are just too much. It's 16-8. He's got 100 seconds left to go. Again, guys, there's a reason that this map doesn't really feature too often over here in replays. First of all, that reason is Rang. But second of all...
Yep.
but second of all, it's an insane map.
Yeah.
I get fidelity to history, but I would have loved to have seen a slight modification on this.
Yeah, it really just... To make this map just a bit better, it's just add a bit better infrastructure on the flanks and roads that connect, a bit more cover to actually make it a bit more enticing, rather than just the grind fest of the center. The cool thing I'd have to say about this map is that it's really cinematic when you zoom in really close and you just see these massive fights being raged on.
Oh, absolutely.
Town just always gets annihilated to rubble every single match. Doesn't matter.
But the thing though is that to me it kind of reminds me of of like episode 2, with like the Battle of Geonosis, and all you just see is like 2 lines of guys walking at each other firing blasters. I'm like, okay, dude, like I can play Age of Empires like this too. Yeah. So you're right. Cinematically, I love seeing all the bullet contrails going in every which direction, as long as we ignore the fact of what's happening to them. But a little bit more tactical would have been fantastic. So
yeah, I'm just like zoomed in like the town at the moment, and it looks really cool. Just looking like it's the thing we don't do enough. I think is like zoom in a little bit and actually see the battle unfold.
True.
Because it's like the coolest part of it. One of the coolest parts of this game is how it looks up close and personal.
True. And maybe that's a thing for the future, right? We got to go in and tell the untold battles of places like Lenina. But,
pretty close in kills, actually.
Oh, I think a lot of that's helped by the fact that the infantry is basically the main killed here. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, you have light-skinned tanks that are 40 or 50 a pop, but other than that, it's 15 and 20-point units every single time. So lots of death, but maybe not so much on the ledger.
Yeah, really, just some of the tanks, being the more MVPs of that match is nothing really much to say. One Flak 88 did decentish work, but yeah, I mean, what is there to be surprised about? It was an infantry spam.
Yeah, well, we had one Valentine tank taking out 3 of those dirty commies in one of their main battle tanks, so good on him.
Yeah, not bad.
Fighting the Cold War early. It was a proxy war, really. But yeah, folks, that I think will about do it for us over here on this particular map. Rang, any final thoughts for it?
Nope.
No, folks, in that case then, we will see you all on Thursday. Until then, I'm Koruck.
I'm Rangaroo. Take it easy.